All right, this is lesson 6.1, first lesson of the chapter. So to do 6.1, you have to remember how to factor. So on the first two, we're just going to factor the numerator and the denominator, and then you're going to mark off ones, which means whatever is the same on top and bottom, you just cancel those out. Okay, so the numerator, it's a trinomial, and it's x squared, so x and x. I want two numbers that multiply to get -4, and then add to get +4, or multiply to get -12, add to get -4. I'm not even sure what I said before. Anyway, it's going to be -6 and a +2. That's the numerator. Down here I have a difference of perfect squares. So that's going to be x and x, 2 and 2, and the signs are going to be different. And then we are going to now mark off ones, which just means you're going to cancel. So these two things cancel out, so we are left with x minus 6 divided by x minus 2. And you are not allowed to cancel these x's out because, as you can see, they are grouped together. They are a package deal. So this is my final answer. Okay, let's forget about number 2. Let's go ahead and look at these now. So this time I'm not factoring because I don't have any addition or subtraction signs. So let's go ahead and do 4, because if we know how to multiply, we should know how to divide. So these are kind of the same. The only difference is that when it's division, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So my first fraction stays the same, and whatever is after a division sign, you flip. Okay, and whenever you multiply fractions, you just multiply straight across. And now I'm going to cancel. Actually, we can maybe combine first now that I notice this. So I'm going to look at my numerator first. I'm going to multiply the 5 and the 10 to get 50. And then I have an x squared, and then the 2 y's become a y squared. Okay, denominator, 2 times 6 is 12. I'm going to get x to the 4th and y to the 5th. Okay, now I can maybe simplify. So I got to do 50 divided by 12. That's going to simplify it to 25 over 6. And then since I'm dividing, I want to subtract my exponent. So 2 minus 4 is -2. So since it's a negative, it goes on the bottom. 2 minus 5 is -3. And since that's a negative, that goes on the bottom as well. Whoops, but that becomes positive once you put it on the bottom. So this would be my final answer. Okay, so that is the gist of the first page. Now we're going to get into multiplying and dividing when you have to factor. Okay, so let's see which ones we can mark off. Let's mark off, I don't know, number 5 maybe? Yeah, that's probably a good one. Okay, let's start with number 6. So the first thing you want to do, and the steps are on the previous page, the first thing you want to do is factor the numerator and the denominator. We're going to do that first. And then we're going to change the division to multiplication. And actually, you could either do, you could do it in this order, or you could switch A and B around. I kind of like to switch it first, but it doesn't matter. I'm actually going to switch it first. So my first fraction is going to stay the same, and then we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to flip the fraction that's after the division sign. Okay, now that it's flipped, now I'm going to factor. So if I look at my numerator, there's nothing I can do with that, so I'm going to leave that as 2x. This denominator, I can take out a 3. And then I'm left with x minus 4. Okay, up here, there's nothing I can take out, but I have a trinomial. So I want to think of two numbers that multiply to get -8 and then add to get -6. So that's x and x. Let's see, -4 and -2 will work. So the numerator is done. Down here, I can take out an x, and then I'm left with x minus 2. All right, so when you multiply, you just make this one big fraction. You just multiply straight across. Now you're going to cancel. So whatever is on top and on bottom, it can go away. So x minus 4 cancels. X minus 2 cancels. These x's can cancel. So we are just left with 2/3 as the answer. So that is number 6. Okay, let's go to number 7. So this time I already have multiplication, so I don't have to change anything. But now I'm going to factor. Okay, this one, I have a trinomial. There's nothing I can take out. I have x and x. Two numbers that multiply to get 9 and add to get 6. That's 3 and 3. Okay, down here there's nothing I can take out, but this time we have perfect cubes. This is where you want one small parenthesis and one large parenthesis. Let's do our signs first. So if you recall SOAP, that will help you with your signs on perfect cubes. So S is same, so it's going to be a plus sign. The second sign is the opposite, and the third sign is always positive. Okay, so now I'm going to take the cube root of each of these terms. It's going to give us x plus 3. And then to get the rest, I square these two terms and put them on the end. So x squared and then 9. And then to get the middle, I multiply these two together to get 3x. And then this fraction cannot be factored, so I'm just going to leave it how it is. Okay, and then when you multiply, you make this one big fraction. And now you're going to cancel. Now, since this has a plus sign in between these two terms, this goes together. Whatever is on top and on bottom, they can cancel out. X plus 3 can cancel. Here's another x plus 3. That's it. So we're left with 1 divided by x squared minus 3x plus 9. So that's my final answer to 7. Okay, number 8. So this time it's division. This is technically over 1 to start off with. But first I want to make this multiplication. So my first fraction stays the same. And we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, once I make it multiplication, now I'm going to factor. Okay, this first one here, the only thing I can do is take out an x. If I take out an x, I'm left with x plus 1. And that's all I can do. Can't do anything with x cubed, so I'm going to leave it as x cubed. Can't do anything with the 1, so I'm going to leave it as a 1. And then down here, there's nothing I can take out, but I do have a difference of perfect squares, so that's when your signs are different. And then x times x is x squared, 1 times 1 is 1. And then you're going to multiply straight across to get one fraction, and now you're going to cancel. X plus 1s can cancel. Let's see, I have 1x here, and I technically have 3 down here, so it kind of looks like this, x times x times x. So I can cancel out one of these with one of these, and that's all I can do. So in the numerator, I just have 1. In the denominator, I have an x squared, and then an x minus 1. So that's my answer to number 8. Okay, moving on. Okay, this is the last page of 6-1. And we could probably just do one of these. All right, let's do number 10, I guess. Okay, the first thing I want to do is change my division to multiplication. So I have one division sign. So whichever fraction is after it, that one changes. So only this one's going to change. Everything else stays the same. So I'm just going to rewrite the problem. So the first fraction and the last fraction stay the same, but the middle fraction is going to change. So 7x plus 7 goes on top. X squared plus 5x goes on the bottom. Okay, now that this is taken care of, now we're going to factor. All right, so this one right here, I can take out an x, get x squared minus 25. Now I actually can factor this again because I have a difference of perfect squares. So bring down the x. My signs are going to be different. X times x is x squared. 5 times 5 is 25. So that is this. Okay, I can't do anything with the 4x squared, so I'm just going to bring that down. Okay, now I'm on this middle one here. The top one, I can bring out a 7. That's all I can do. Down here, I can bring out an x. That's all I can do on that. Over here, I can bring out a 2. But I can factor that more. So bring down the 2. Got a difference of perfect squares. So signs are going to be different. X times x is x squared. 1 times 1 is 1. And then down here, I have a trinomial. There's nothing I can bring out. 2 numbers that multiply to get 5, add to get negative 6. That's going to be negative 5 and negative 1. Okay, so after you have everything factored, we're going to just make this one big fraction. And then we're going to cancel. Whatever's on top and on bottom, it cancels. X plus 5 goes away. X minus 5 goes away. And then here's an x minus 1. And what else do we have? Oh, this x can cancel out with this one. And that might be it. I don't know, let's see what we got here. So this is all gone. I have a 7 times a 2, that's 14. I have an x plus 1, so I'm gonna I have 2 of those, so x plus 1 squared. And then I have a 4x squared on the bottom. Okay. I actually can do one more thing. I can reduce the 14 and the 4. I can divide these both by 2. So I get 7 on top. And then I get 2 on the bottom. And I cannot cancel these squares out because this is x squared and this is x plus 1 squared. They're 2 different things. So that's as far as I can go. Whoops. So that is 6-1.